Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Haven't spoken to you guys since the match vlog, Chelsea versus Burnley. I've been kind of pondering on that performance, pondering on the experience of being at Stamford Bridge, and I've concluded that it just isn't quite the same as it used to be. I don't want to be sat here telling you, look, going and following Chelsea, watching us at the bridge just isn't as enjoyable as it once was, but the atmosphere is so clinically different to what it would have been 4.5 years ago when I was going every single week. But one thing I do know is Chelsea Man United is a fixture that it doesn't matter what kind of form we're in. It doesn't matter who the manager is. It doesn't matter about the affinity that we have to the players and the squad. This is always a game that Chelsea Football Club get up for. Stamford Bridge. We've still got stuff to play for this season, which is why I'm hoping tonight that no matter what the starting 11 is, Pochettino can rally the boys together to get a result here. There's so much on the line. Manchester United this season, when you look at United and you look at Chelsea, you'd say probably the two biggest underperformers. I'd say that Newcastle have also seriously underperformed as well. But I think with United and Chelsea, it's been the quality of the football that's just not been shining through at numerous times this season. And I think United, when it comes to the rub of the green, which is a phrase that basically means you're getting a bit of luck going your way, I think United have had the rub of the green a little bit more than Chelsea have. I think in terms of consistency, they've been able to build multiple good results in a row, more so than Chelsea have. Chelsea seem to put in a couple of good performances and then it's like all right, we're going to lose to Brentford at Stamford Bridge, are we? And then it's kind of like the Burnley result as well, where we start looking at the form and we're saying, well, we've won 5, drawn 2 and lost 1 since that horrible defeat to Wolves. And then you go and draw 2-2 against 10 men. So with Chelsea, at the moment, we just don't know what we're going to get. Now, Pochettino's press conference pre this Manchester United game was interesting. There was footage that was released in the tunnel of Conor Gallagher, and he kind of like goes to, I don't know, I just don't understand why journalists and just people in football really are hyper-analysing every single action in the name of painting a Chelsea player, or not just Chelsea, they're not the only club that get like all of these hyper-attentions put on individual moments. Gallagher did absolutely nothing wrong. It's been blown out of proportion. Let's focus on the football. I think Pochettino, in this pre-match press conference against United, he's done a good job of kind of trying to protect the players and make it about the game. Make it about what we're going to do on the pitch as opposed to the narratives that have been totally blown out of proportion with whatever is happening off the field. There is also another narrative here that we cannot avoid before this Man United game, and that is the Mason Mount Stamford Bridge return. Now, whatever you say about Mason Mount, we've got to be grateful for what he did during those 2 seasons where he was absolutely magnificent for us. Champions League winner, boyhood Chelsea fan. Lots have come out recently that he never really wanted to leave Chelsea. The stories have been that Mason Mount was that cash injection that Chelsea desperately needed to, looks like, stall the FFP issues that we're about to run into potentially if we don't make the sales necessary before June. So when it comes to the reception that Mount gets, I think a lot of Stamford Bridge will probably be, there'll be some animosity there. But at the same time, whenever a player goes to Manchester United, it's never going to be like, you're right, mate, how you doing? Thanks for everything. That comes afterwards. If Chelsea are winning, then I think the reception gets better for Mount. And to be quite honest, I think there's a very, very good opportunity here that he's going to play after he scored his first goal away at Brentford in that 1-1 draw for United. But I don't really care about whatever Man United players have that used to play for us. I don't really care that they're ahead of us in the table. This is Chelsea Man United. This is an opportunity for these players to come together, get together, rally together and put in a performance and put on a show after what was dismal against Burnley. Unfortunately, I'm not going to the game tonight. This whole trip has kind of been chaos. I'm not going to lie to you, hence why there's been less videos. Spending a lot of time with my family, spending time with friends up in London, catching up with people I've not seen for years. And now we're at my girlfriend's house, which is lovely. So not going to the Chelsea Man United game. 6 Things We Learnt will be out straight after the match tonight, though, as I've actually got somewhere to film, which is fantastic. But we begin the Chelsea starting 11 that I think is going to go out there and beat United tonight. We start with Petrovic in goal. Pochettino was asked about Sanchez in the press conference. Didn't really seem too confident that he was going to be ready in this game, which is good, in my opinion. Not wishing injury upon any Chelsea player ever. But I will say this, despite Petrovic's mistake, I think he should have kept hold of that ball in the game against Burnley. And if he does do that, which as your goalkeeper, you expect him to know when to push the ball away, when to catch the ball, Chelsea win the game. It's simple. All of your goalkeepers, no matter how good they are, they're always going to make high-profile mistakes on occasions. We just got to hope that with Petrovic it was a one-off. Because I think overall, he's had a really good season. The Chelsea back four that we're going with today is Gusto at right back. So fortunate. When I saw him go down against Burnley, for me that was like the nail in the coffin. If you guys saw that Burnley matchday vlog, if you didn't, I advise you to check it out. But it was just so deflating. Like, I've never watched Chelsea before and felt like, bloody hell, it's exhausting. Like, I just want to go to bed. Normally, even after a loss, you're like, let's go and have a few beers. You get excited about it. And when I saw Gusto go down towards the end, I'm like, this just can't really get much worse at this point. Unless Burnley score a third, this is probably the worst thing we could have seen. Looks like Gusto is going to be okay. So he starts at right back. The centre-backs, it's not really what I go for, to be honest. I thought Disasi and Badiashile were absolutely average at best throughout the whole game in that one against Burnley. But at the moment, I think it's what we've got. I think we've seen, since Thiago Silva came out of the side, that the speed of transition has improved, which was a massive issue for Chelsea. There's still issues. We're still conceding loads of goals. And I understand that there is an argument to bring Thiago Silva back in. I think the amount we're conceding now, it's like 2 every flipping game. It's not good. And I think it's because Disasi and Badiashile aren't at the level that Chelsea need in terms of quality at the back. I think Gusto is brilliant. The left back is Mark Cucurella. At the moment, Chile is just out of it. And Ben Chilwell, my mate was having a go at me the other day for calling him Chile. I'm not going to call Cole Palmer Cold Palmer. Don't worry, I'm not going that far. But Ben Chilwell, at the moment, as much as I love him, I've always loved him as a Chelsea player. I'm sticking Mark Cucurella in there. I think he looks a bit more dogged like we used to see back in the days at Brighton when he was a solid defender. And again, I still don't think he's a great Chelsea signing. I still don't think he's been anywhere near as good as what I expected him to be and what we need him to be. But at the moment, there's an injury crisis at Chelsea. People have spoke all season about Man United's injury list. But if you look at the stats, you look at the figures, the amount of injuries that Chelsea have had, the amount of first-team players that have just missed so many matches all season long, it's incredible. So Cucurella is in there. We move into, it's going to look like a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, whichever way you look at it, but Enzo and Caicedo is that pivot. Looks like we're not going to see Nkunku for the rest of the season. I'm not surprised. Looks like we're not going to see Lavia either. We already know that for the rest of the season. So Gallagher is going to play in that 10. Look, I want to see Mudryk in that 10. I think he's on fire at the moment. I think he's looking sharp. I think he's looking quick. And I think on the left-hand side, he's not utilised well enough. I think there's too much pressure on ensuring that every action is to get to the byline, when I actually think that's not what Mudryk is best at. As quick as he might be, I think it's the drifting inside that works so well. So Mudryk is going to go on the left wing, with Gallagher kind of playing in that 10. Nicholas Jackson through the middle. I think his hold-up play is improving. I think his runs into both channels is becoming really, really solid. I'm very impressed with Jackson at the moment. And then Cole Palmer. He's the star. He is the main man. And I think by far the best footballer at Chelsea Football Club right now. Everyone's talking Phil Foden for Player of the Year. If Cole Palmer doesn't win the Young Player of the Year, I'm going to want to know just how deep this agenda has gone. Like, what number are we on now in terms of that anti-Chelsea brigade? And I'm going to defend us here. Cole Palmer's been absolutely magnificent as the wind decides to show its face. Love it. But score predictions here. What do I think's actually going to happen? I've just got a feeling we're going to show up for this game. I think the Burnley result could be, because it was against 10 men and it was just so poor in that second half, I've got a feeling this could be kind of like the Wolves game where we got battered and then there was a springboard before that cup final. I'm hoping that the feeling around Stamford Bridge, the boos that we saw, at full time, which I think was absolutely warranted against 10 men relegation fodder. I think Chelsea bounced back here. I've not been impressed with United all season. I've been impressed with how they've got results grinded out of nowhere. But in terms of the quality of football, I don't think they're much better than us at all. 2-1 Chelsea is what I'm going to say tonight. And I think Nicholas Jackson scores and Cole Palmer scores. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching this video. 6 things we learned out straight after tonight. Try and stop the wind blowing on the mic. I'll see you guys in a bit. Come on, you Blues.